Another day, another story. Adolf Hitler was a German politician and leader of the Nazi Party. Born in Austria in 1889, Hitler rose to power as Chancellor of Germany in 1933 and later Führer in 1934. During his dictatorship from 1933 to 1945, he initiated World War II in Europe by invading Poland in September 1939. He was closely involved in military operations throughout the war and was central to the perpetration of the Holocaust. Hitler's ideas and beliefs, which he called National Socialism, were rooted in anti-Semitism and the belief in the superiority of the Aryan race. He argued that the German people were being oppressed by the Treaty of Versailles after World War I, and that they deserved Lebensraum, or living space. He aimed to create a new order in Europe in which the German people could flourish, and saw the elimination of Jews, Romani, homosexuals, and others whom he deemed inferior, as a necessary step towards this goal. Under Hitler's leadership, the Nazi Party gained control of Germany and implemented policies of racial segregation, persecution of political opponents, and the suppression of free speech and the press. The party's paramilitary force, the Sturmabteilung, SA, carried out violent acts of intimidation against perceived enemies of the state. Hitler also established the Gestapo, a secret police force with the power to arrest and detain people without trial. In 1941, Hitler launched a massive invasion of the Soviet Union, which he saw as the main enemy of the German people. The invasion resulted in a major setback for the German army, and Hitler's leadership became increasingly erratic and totalitarian. In 1942, he ordered the implementation of the Final Solution, a plan to extermination all Jews in German-occupied Europe. Over the course of the next 3 years, more than 6 million Jews, as well as other minority groups, were systematically murdered in the Holocaust. Despite his early military successes, Hitler's leadership became increasingly criticized as the war turned against Germany. He refused to acknowledge the reality of the military situation, and refused to make the necessary strategic changes to turn the tide of the war. By 1945, Germany was facing defeat on multiple fronts, and Hitler retreated to his bunker in Berlin as the city was surrounded by Soviet troops. On April 30, 1945, Hitler committed suicide, and Germany surrendered a few days later. Hitler's legacy is one of devastation and horror. His aggressive foreign policy led to the death and suffering of millions of people during World War II, and the Holocaust remains one of the darkest chapters in human history. In the years following his death, Hitler has been widely reviled and his ideology has been discredited. He remains a symbol of evil and a warning of the dangers of totalitarianism and extreme nationalism. In conclusion, Adolf Hitler was a ruthless dictator who led Germany into a catastrophic war and perpetrated one of the worst atrocities in human history. He remains a symbol of the dangers of extreme nationalism and the importance of opposing tyranny and oppression wherever it may occur.